How does DEI need to change? The news has been full of companies who are reconsidering their DEI efforts. Companies like Boeing, Ford, Lowe's, Walmart, Harley-Davidson, Caterpillar, Tractor Supply, and Brown-Forman of Jack Daniel's Whiskey are all among the big names being discussed. This is coupled with threats from the incoming administration in the US government to ban DEI efforts, which will have huge impacts in education, in government contractors, in the work of government itself, along with businesses who are worried about the impacts of this perspective on their own bottom lines. It's clear that DEI has gone through some things. However, the goals of DEI are still important to companies. These goals include things like belonging, trust, connection, fairness, engagement, employee experience, professional development. All these things are important to the success of companies, and these things are also key parts of DEI. So, what does this mean for DEI in 2025? A story in Fast Company by Mita Malick explores this question, and the article has the following summary points. First, there's a rebranding of DEI in new ways. Rather than even calling it DEI, companies are going to other names that include things like wellness or inclusion, belonging, peoples, culture, connection, and even employee experience. Second is the question of whether or not employee resource groups are going to be tasked with greater amounts of work as part of their remit. If DEI efforts in an organization are cut, is this going to mean that a women's ERG is going to be asked to help with a new product line that's targeted at female customers? And if they are asked to do this kind of work, is it going to be in conjunction with the work they already have to do as part of their jobs? Will they be given additional resources and compensation for these additional efforts? The third thing focused on is moving DEI from just being about training and compliance and moving it more fully into strategy. Companies will be making DEI a part of their competitive advantage and not just saying that they do DEI stuff. There's going to be more of a focus to demonstrate that DEI is a meaningful and impactful part of their organizational work. But with this, as the author notes, will, quote, integrating DEI across the business just be a way to bury DEI efforts without saying that they're actually giving them up? Will it, quote, become another red flag and catchphrase to signal that companies aren't interested in continuing their DEI efforts but are just too scared to say it out loud? While integrating DEI across a business may sound like a really good idea, it doesn't mean much if all it means is making sure that it's not visible and really isn't being done that well. And fourth, companies need to empower their leaders to be inclusive. Too often, managers are put in positions of anxiety around doing the wrong thing. As the author writes, quote, many companies will go back to ensuring their leaders are in fact equipped to lead. Now, there's nothing worse than asking somebody to do something and neither giving them the training nor the resources to accomplish that thing. So companies need to do a better job to help their leaders lead in ways that they would like them to lead. As the article concludes, ultimately DEI isn't going away because, quote, creating environments where employees have the opportunity to do their best and make an impact is good for individuals and also good for business. So it's really important that companies demonstrate why they're doing this kind of work, that it's going to benefit not only the organization, but it's going to benefit those in the organization, and not just some of those in the organization, but everyone in the organization. So how do you see DEI changing in the year 2025 where you work? What do you see as the changes taking place, and what changes do you hope take place in the future?